Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Karina Cruz. I am a senior integrated marketing communications major, and I'm also in Dr. Husney's class. And tonight I am introducing Mr. Tom Witschi, and he is the EVP and president of the Women's Lifestyle Group at Meredith Corporation. And in this role, he oversees Meredith's home, lifestyle, and food-related businesses for key brands, including AllRecipes, Eating Well, Everyday with Rachel Ray, Traditional Home, Fitness, More, Midwest Living, and Meredith's Special Interest Publications. He is also responsible for the P&L of the businesses across multiple platforms, including print and digital. Witschi is also oversees Meredith's robust brand licensing activities, including over 3,500 branded homes products at 4,000 Walmart stores across the U.S., flower and plants by the FTD Florists, and Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate in partnership with Rheology Corporations. Also, in addition, he oversees Meredith's content licensing, which provides strategic content distribution, sales and service for existing intellectual property assets created by the National Media Group. MCL works with over 75 companies in multiple business sectors, including healthcare, supermarket retail, CPG, and media. And previously, Mr. Witschi was CEO of the Eating Well Media Group, which was acquired by Meredith Corporation in June 2011. During his tenure at Eating Well, which he joined in late 2005, Witschi transformed the business, tripling revenue and creating strong growth and profitability. He has helped lead the significant diversification of the brand from a flagship bi-monthly magazine, which now reaches more than 5.5 million readers, to multiple platforms, including a robust website, which today garners more than 6 million monthly unique visitors, content and brand licensing, custom publishing, and consumer cookbooks and health books. The Eating Well brand is the leading source of science-based nutrition advice, delicious and easy health recipes, and useful shopping information. And with great honor, I introduce to you Mr. Witschi. Thank you.
That was way too long of an introduction, but thank you, Karina. That's very kind. It is great to be here this evening in Oxford. My first trip to University of Mississippi in this part of the country, so I think this week it became more in the news, certainly in the Northeast and New York area, with your big victory over Alabama last Saturday. So congratulations on that. I knew that was a good starting point, right? I want to make one little shout out to Amy, who spoke earlier tonight, and I was struck by your comment about analogies of industries with fruit. And I'm going to start coming up with something for the magazine business, but if apples and lawyers are connected, we got to think about magazines. I don't know if it's pears or peaches or grapefruits, but I like that. I'm gonna put some thought into that. Thank you very much, everyone. It's great to be here. I do want to thank Samir for giving me this opportunity and inviting us, many people from Meredith. You saw a few today, to say a few words and talk about the crazy industry we're in. But it is a great passion point of mine to talk about magazines and their relevancy and vitality in this ever-changing landscape of media. Also, a shout out to Samir and the 30th anniversary of the Meek School of Journalism. Just hearing, the background, I had not heard all the background from Samir in the past, but that's pretty incredible, and 30 years ago, and the development of this industry over time, and two of the students sharing their experiences, fantastic. But Meredith Corporation, the founder in helping this get started, is really proud to be a part of it. It's important. It spawned many great talented individuals into our business, and I'm sure the pipeline will continue as we move into the future. So let me get right to it. I'm going to start with the thesis of my presentation tonight, which is really, why am I so confident and so excited about the magazine industry today. And it's pretty simple. It really starts with that most magazines today are brands, they're media brands, and they are dependent on great content and engaged consumers. And that's really the simple message. But what's interesting and what's really developed over the past 10 years is that we are now delivering our content on multiple platforms and through multiple technologies. And we're now able to reach out to far larger audiences than we used to. And for companies like Meredith, this is really important because we can generate new revenue streams, we can reach new customers, we can do 360 branding all around, but it's all based on great magazine brands and great magazine content. I'm going to get started tonight with a kind of a simple exercise, but hopefully fun for you, that illustrates the power of magazine brands. And I think everybody in this room knows the power of television, sight, sound, and motion. And it's probably the preferred choice of American consumers and advertisers. But I think you'd be surprised with some of the answers to these questions. So I'm going to quiz the group. Okay, let's start with the first one, which is, how many print magazines have been around and thriving for 50 years or more? Let's take a guess from the back of the room, back left. Come on, somebody from that table. How many? 20. Okay, I got a 20 over here. 45. And one more from front of the table. 50. Okay, and the answer is 170. Wow. And now, how many TV shows can say the same thing? 5. One more? 30. Pretty close. 13. And mostly news programs. So, and then the last question, who reaches more adults? The top 25 primetime TV shows or the top 25 magazines? Magazines! The top 25 magazines reach 35% more adults. So, you guys get the point. I think it's pretty clear that magazine brands are still very, very vital today and growing and progressing. And it really ties into the launch of magazines. In 2013 calendar year, 865 new magazines of different shapes and sizes were launched in the United States. And even though the tablet editions are a side business for us today, they only represent about 4% of circulation in the United States, which is actually a very interesting figure when you think about the enthusiasm about tablets about 5 years ago. People still today, American consumers, love the feel and format of the printed magazine. At Meredith, we understand this vitality, and as you can see from this slide, over the past decade and a half, we have seen our readership grow significantly. The key to this growth is to keep our content vibrant and relevant. Consumers have been responding to our efforts as we have achieved steady audience growth. We do extensive consumer research to stay on top of changing consumer trends and use this research to drive creative change. Importantly, we have built robust digital businesses that are now contributing in a big way to our businesses. So at Meredith, we strongly believe in magazines and digital, not digital or magazines. And again, the keys to this are great brands with great content. Something I'm really proud of, because I was able to be a part of the launch team, is AllRecipes. And I hope everyone in this room is familiar with this brand. It's a digital brand that we purchased in February of 2012. And it is the largest food website in the world. In the United States alone, it's over 30 million monthly uniques. We bought the company partly because we wanted to get more deeply into the digital business, but also because we saw an opportunity to really expand this brand into other platforms. And we started immediately in the summer of 2012 testing a magazine concept. And a year later launched with a 500,000 rate base. Today we're at 900,000, and we just announced recently that we're going to increase the rate base of the magazine to 1.1 million in the beginning of 2015. So this is a great story about picking up a strong media brand and actually transferring it into the magazine business for additional growth and extension. It should be noted, however, that there are many magazines in this country that have changed frequency and also have cut rate base over the last few years, but these properties still remain vital, including things like New York Magazine and Advertising Age, where they've spawned their businesses into other platforms. Their magazine is still important, but it has a different size and proportion to the rest of their business. Another key factor for success in our industry is to focus on building profitable brands and businesses. As this slide demonstrates, our national media brands such as Better Homes and Gardens, Parents, AllRecipes, and Everyday with Rachel Ray reach over 100 million unduplicated women each month. Our digital activities generate an additional 50 million monthly unique visitors. So we are clearly the leading media company for American women. Our marketing business on the side is called Meredith Accelerated Marketing. And they offer clients such as Kraft, Chrysler, Nestle, and Lowe's multi-platform content marketing expertise, both in the United States and in Europe. MXM is a great asset to Meredith because it is a content-based agency that resides in a multimedia company fueled by great content. And that alignment is perfect for our company. Combined, Meredith, the national media group, generated over $1 billion in revenue in the past fiscal year and $135 million in EBITDA. As an industry, we must prove the value of our magazine media brands to marketers. What is the advertiser's return on investment? We believe so strongly in the effectiveness of print advertising that we launched the Meredith Sales Guarantee 2 years ago to prove, using third-party data with Nielsen, that advertising in magazines effectively and efficiently drives retail sales. The analytics matches Meredith subscribers with Nielsen's home scan panel, which includes consumers who track their actual scanned product data. A match test and control group is developed with the only difference being exposure to advertising in Meredith magazines. We then analyze the difference in spending between Meredith households and non-Meredith households. To date, we have delivered strong sales lifts and positive returns on investments for all the brands that have participated. It's over 50 advertising campaigns. In fact, every dollar invested in Meredith titles, we've generated an average ROI of $7.81 and an average sales lift of nearly 10%. And as we've extended this guarantee now to the digital side of our business, and in next year, early next year, we're moving it into our programmatic buying platform as well. Another important part of our business, Karina mentioned it, is we are in the licensing business, the brand licensing business. And particularly with our largest brand, Better Homes and Gardens, which now has a relationship with Walmart. We are pushing out 3,000 home-related products in 4,000 Walmart stores across the United States and Canada. It's now a $2 billion business this past year. In addition, we have a real estate program that includes 250 offices across the United States and 8,500 sales agents. In fact, our brand licensing business has grown to the point where it is ranked number 4 in the world in sales transactions, along such famous companies as Hasbro and Disney. And back to the AllRecipes brand. As I mentioned, a great story about what we call reverse engineering, taking a digital brand and moving it into print. It's something that actually won us an award for Magazine of the Year from the Media Industry Newsletter. Not too many magazines are doing this, or starting from a digital platform and moving to the print side, but this is, I think, a real representative of the power of print. It can work, and it did work for AllRecipes very well. So when we look at this business, we saw so much potential in other platforms. So besides the magazine, we built a robust mobile presence, a tablet edition, and significantly expanded the video offerings of AllRecipes, and are now debuting a weekly show on a syndication show we call The Better Show at Meredith, which is across the United States in millions of homes. Each of the extensions expanded the brand's engagement with its audience and new platforms and has created new revenue stream opportunities for our company. Another example is the Eating Well brand, and as Karina mentioned, I had the good fortune of really starting this company back in 2005, and it's the thinking behind Eating Well really is the intersection of food and health. And this business really built its business on multi-platform publishing. So it launched as a magazine, but quickly moved into a web business, moved into content licensing and books, and has now spawned off into other businesses as well. But more than half of the revenue from this brand is generated through non-traditional media. Very important. Ultimately, you have to do what's right for your brand. And I think the key message here is the biggest focus I have as an executive now in the publishing business, and many of my counterparts, are how do you balance all the different platforms and do it in a way that's right for your brand, is profitable, and makes sense for the future. That's the $10 million question, and it's the difference between companies that make a lot of money and companies that make less money. As I said earlier, the one-on-one connection between magazines and consumers has tremendous power. We know how to move someone from inspiration to action better than any other media, and there is great value in that connection to marketers. At Meredith and in our industry, we believe that when you combine great magazine content with rich, deep data and insights, you can unlock an enhanced experience for both consumers and marketers. Our digital group is focused on leveraging our first-party consumer data across multiple platforms to provide marketers with a unique combination of premium content and premium data. This marriage of the art and science of data is unique to our industry. It expands our content reach to new consumers. It creates new opportunities for them to engage with our brands, and it opens new channels and opportunities for our marketing partners that can reach over 100 million American women. Our next initiative is enhancing consumer revenue, which has incredible potential. And this is something that Meredith, but also many of our competitors in the industry, are focused on. How can we get the consumer to pay more than just a magazine, for more than just a magazine subscription? But when you look at it, whether it's Sirius Radio, whether it's Netflix, or whether it's a magazine subscription, consumers are willing to pay for media content that brings them entertainment, inspires them, improves their health and wellness, or helps them achieve their personal goals. Given this knowledge, we have put a great deal of emphasis on increasing non-advertising related revenues, including tapping our powerful circulation engine. In the past year, we researched and are now implementing an aggressive strategy to increase circulation profit. We refer to this initiative as Consumer Revenue Transformation, or CRT. It includes 4 things. Number 1, phasing all consumers to auto credit card renewal of their subscriptions. Number 2, testing and implementing increased price points across all of our portfolio of magazines. Thirdly, aggressively moving more consumer transactions online. So the renewal process and even the buy process is happening digitally. And lastly, offering bundled package of online checkout to cross and upsell our brand. So we're increasingly working on other bits of information that we can offer to people that are passionate about our brands. At Meredith, we know that one of the key ways for magazines to thrive in the coming years is to recognize that magazine media companies have always been great incubators of ideas. For example, several years ago, we created the Meredith Content Centers for Creative Excellence around the areas of home, beauty, and food. These centers are led by our editorial teams, come together regularly to discuss consumer trends, ideas, and innovations. By sharing this information across our magazine brands, our editors are able to tap into the knowledge of their colleagues while simultaneously bringing their brand's unique perspective to a common content area. Similarly, we bring our brands together in the experiential marketing area with new programs and events of value for our marketing partners. This example is the Fitness More Half Marathon, which is a tremendous success and has been and now has been around for over 11 years. Next year, we're going to expand this program to include other brands from Meredith to partake because that experiential effort is so important to marketers. And finally, I just want to let the students in the audience know something that I feel really passionate about, and that's that the media industry believes it has a strong future, and it believes that tapping into young people and new people to join our industry is very, very important to our success. Great magazine brands have a history of being led by young minds. So whether it's Rolling Stone or Wired or Fast Company or Eating Well or even Playboy, these are entrepreneurs who started these magazines and they were passionate about their subjects. We believe in your ability to fuel the magazine media vitality through now and into the future. And it's another reason why we are so glad to support programs such as this that we celebrate tonight. In closing, I just want to say congratulations to Samir and to the Mead School of Journalism for 30 years of advocacy for magazines, longevity, and impact. Your educational mission and advocacy for magazine media is important and meaningful and properly balances the discourse of magazine relevancy in this changing media landscape. So I want to thank you for your time, and I'm happy to take questions, and let's be Texas A&M on Saturday night. All right. Thank you very much.
Questions?
Come on, somebody.
It's the room of journalists. Tony.
What does Meredith think about the new MBA thesis?
Oh, it's great question. Well, I guess the full answer will be how does the advertising community react to it? I think it's great. The best way to describe this, for those of you who don't know, the way magazines have often been measured is by ad pages. So the health of a magazine was, did you have more ad pages than last month, or did you have more ad pages than the same issue a year ago? But it had nothing to do whether you were profitable or maybe you sold those pages at higher rates. A good example is the movie business, the motion picture industry. It used to be how they would measure it on number of people that go to the movie theater. They no longer do that. They base it on gross billings. So, what does it cost to go to the movie theaters today? It costs $12 in New York City to see a movie. It's crazy, but it's true. But it's all based on gross billings. It's not based on the number of people that go to the movie theater. In fact, movie theater attendance is down. So the magazine business now we're trying to measure ourselves on all of our touch points. So it's magazines, it's mobile, it's tablet, it's websites, and it's a figure that's much, much larger and is more representative of where we are as an industry. So it's no longer an ad page measurement. So I'm very excited about it, and I think it's going to be very good for our industry. Thank you.
Question?
You can ask me a football question. Come on.
What we ate tonight, was that from AllRecipes?
I cannot answer that question. I have no idea. User-generated content.
So Tom, if things are going so well, what keeps you up at night?
Boy, I think I was too optimistic tonight. No, it's a challenging time. There's no doubt about it. I think what's the most challenging thing for our company and for me is that the business is changing constantly. If you look back 10 years ago, you had a predictability to the magazine business. It might be changing every 6 months, it might change year, but but you had a period of time in which you could get into a rhythm. The business has changed to the point where the digital side is moving so quickly that you can make a decision and 6 months later that decision is incorrect. So I think that's what's keeping me up. And on the advertising front, the decision making it used to be more on a 6-month or annualized basis, and today it's happening month to month. And marketers are very, very concerned, obviously, about selling products. So they are shifting media dollars at the last minute, and it's just a very unpredictable business. And you know, it's better sometimes to be at a big company now because you can play with your different pieces and you have so many assets that some are sometimes better than others. But that's really what keeps me up, is the unpredictability of the business. Yeah.
Stock's up decently over the last 5 years, but down a little bit this year.
Yep.
Any reasons why?
Yeah, I wish I could answer that. Patrick will arrest me. Insider information. No, I can't really explain the last, we've seen the stock, I think about 3 months ago, it was trading, sort of close to its 5-year high in the high 40s. It's now today, I think today was for those of you who don't know, was a terrible, terrible day on Wall Street. But yesterday the stock was up 4%. Today the stock was down 2%. So go figure. But a big part of our growth has been acquisitions that we have made that analysts have really liked. We've done a lot of very, very smart acquisitions that have quickly succeeded. A lot of tuck-ins like Eating Well, like Family Fun, like Everyday with Rachel Ray, like AllRecipes. So those acquisitions have been important. The other part is the broadcast business. So Meredith has the National Media Group. It also has a broadcast division, which is 15 local broadcast stations around the country. And broadcast is very much in vogue right now, so that the value of our stock is very much on the back of the broadcast division.
So you think you've been paralyzed a little bit this year?
I think we have. I think we have. And I think the other thing we're doing is we're making it very clear what we're doing in our digital business more than we ever have. In fact, we're releasing financial figures associated with that side of the business. And the valuations of companies now are higher on the digital side than they would be on the print side. So I think it's unlocking the different parts of our business and making it clear what our media mix is. Yeah.
My question goes back to the AllRecipes magazine one.
Yeah.
When you were working with that magazine, was there a discussion of what your relationship would be with as far as bringing in celebrity chefs, because that's such a zeitgeist?
Yeah. So good question.
Seems to have succeeded without that.
Yeah. No, it's a good question. And, the food category has boomed over the last 10 years. You certainly see it on television with the Food Network. You've seen it with Food Network magazine, which is produced by Hearst. We specifically made the decision that, for the brand's sake, celebrity is not part of the AllRecipes brand. It's really about user-generated. It's really about people participating, and that to us was sort of anti-celebrity. So we really stay away from that. Eating Well, occasionally we'll touch on celebrities. Rachel Ray is our celebrity brand, so we certainly have something in our own stable that touches on that area, and we feel we can capture it there. Yeah.
I'm curious, increasingly editors are being asked to have more and more priorities. Launch a digital edition, sell stuff out of a magazine, drive the likes on Facebook. I can imagine there's 10 priorities. So how do you, as a business leader, structure the priorities and kind of the weight and success of editors in this fragmented kind of world?
Yeah, it's a great question, and there isn't an easy answer. It gets back to, I think, what I said earlier, is that one of my slides I talked about the most important thing is you can put media out on lots and lots of different platforms. You can get into the brand licensing business, the content licensing business, the digital business. There's so many extensions for content today. The question is, which one's going to pay off for your brand? So where we put a lot of emphasis on our business leaders and our editors is deciding what's best for that brand. We cannot do it all. Some companies might be able to, but we try to pick our spots and say, if I have 10 choices, I'm going to focus on 5 things. and then we go at it. But that really is the $10 million question that all publishers today are wrestling with. You can lose a lot of money by making the wrong choices. Tablet editions is a great example. The industry went aggressively, or many of the companies went aggressively after tablets, and the bet was wrong. Or the bet wasn't necessarily wrong long term, but it was wrong in the short term. So, where do you place your bets, and what's the right blend of media platforms for your brand?
Hey, John, I'd like to suggest that tablet editions wasn't necessarily wrong, but poorly executed.
I would agree with that. That's a good point. So, what the gentleman in the back of the room I think is saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that I think the thinking was that whiz-bang technology on your tablet with your brand presentation was what consumers really wanted. And what happened was a lot of magazine brands went onto tablets, and the technology had not caught up. The experience was horrible. It was slow. There were too many things that were loaded onto it. And what we're finding actually is that replica magazine editions, in fact, do just as well, if not better. Eating Well right now at 750,000 circulation is generating almost 10% of their circulation off tablets, and it's a replica edition. So, I think that's a good example back to you. Do you want to invest in an enhanced edition, put more money and more resource and more editorial power into something? Will it pay off? And to date, with few exceptions, it has not paid off yet.
Tony,
Yes.
last question.
Thank you, I had the opposite experience with tablet editions. I think they're just a shell for the print magazine. So why not just get the print magazine? That's except for National Geographic, which is phenomenal on the tablet.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to ask is, why do you think AllRecipes did well on Meredith when it didn't? It was what it was under Reader's Digest. So what was the critical business shift?
Yeah, that's a good. I worked at Reader's Digest, so that's something in my past, and I was not there when they owned AllRecipes, but it was a resourcing issue. Not to go into too much more than that. They left the company alone in Seattle. They didn't integrate it. They didn't take advantage of the synergies with the rest of Reader's Digest. And it was a technology company for the most part. It's not a content company. It's really a technology company that was left alone and probably made some poor choices in terms of how to make money. So I think we're pretty good at figuring out priorities of the business and how to make money, and that's been, as well as marrying it with other assets within the Meredith family. And I think that's been really the difference. But, the magazine has been, it's a pretty phenomenal story. 2 years into it, we will break even with this magazine, which is unprecedented in a magazine launch. It's usually for most magazines, going back in history, it's a launch takes about 7 to 10 years to break even. So we're doing it in 2, and that's really a reflection on the brand.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I guess Act 5.3 is now for the books, for the history books. It's another great day we had. I would like to ask all the former and current magazine students to please stand up so we can give you a hand. Thank you. I told the Daily Mississippian, our student newspaper, last Monday. The reporter asked me, why do you do the experience? And I said, I do it because of you, the students. I don't do it for the university. I don't do it for the school. I don't do it for myself. You're the only reason I do the ACT experience. And without you, the students who just stood up, there's no service journalism program, there's no magazine program, and there's no future for our industry. You are the future industry leaders, to borrow a term from Democrat printing.